Good morning, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works workshop, and I'm 2 or 3 minutes late. Sorry about that. I didn't think I was going to be late there, but I got sidetracked and I forgot about the time. Sorry. Anyway, we're here now, and unfortunately, the air is running, and I'm going to turn that off because it's really noisy and you can probably hear it. So watch this for just a second. Sorry about that.
Opal's got a little shop, coffee, tea, and soda pop, written on the faded window sign. Ruby and Pearl are her best friends. There you'll find the three of them, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:30.
It's just nuts around here. Oh, well, the first thing is we will be at Dickey's Barbecue Pit this evening. So if you're in the area, be sure to stop by. The music starts at around 6. We usually get there around 5 and eat dinner there first, and then start playing around 6, and we go to about 8:30. And you never know what the crowd's going to be like. Last week was a medium crowd. We didn't have a big crowd. I don't know, either the week before or 2 weeks before, we had a almost sellout crowd. So it just varies. But anyway, we hope you'll come by sometime if you can. My mail carrier, I guess, is running 4 or 5 routes. I really don't know. But it's not uncommon for our mail to be delivered at 9 o'clock at night. I had 2 critical packages, critical to me. They're not critical to the world, but they're critical, for my project, trying to get that darn horse trailer done, and I want to get it off my hands. So I was waiting on parts for that, and it, all day long it said, it's out for delivery, and at 8 o'clock, it says it'll be delivered by 8 p.m., and so 8 o'clock came and went. And it says, we're running late, but we're still coming, and so 9:30 came, and they never showed. So this morning, no, they never showed. So it's really frustrating, and that's what my delay was. I was trying to write a nice note to the mail carrier because I know she's overworked. I'm not trying to complain, but trying to offer a suggestion or something, because what she doesn't probably get is that, first of all, I am running a business, and it's critical. Second of all, now the next, if it comes at 9 o'clock tonight, I didn't really have a 24-hour delay. I've got a 36-hour delay because I can't use it till the next morning anyway. So, I was hoping it would still come last night so I could use it this morning, So it's just really frustrating. So anyway, that's why I was late getting this thing going this morning. Yeah, I was hoping that if I had that problem, and I've been overworked pretty much my whole life, so I can relate to her struggle. But I would think that rather than penalizing the person who's last on your list, which I know I am last on their list, you would think the next morning you would run by their place first and run the route backwards if you need to, or whatever, but at least that's just my scruples. I would try to make it up to the people that I didn't, service that particular day or whatever. But not everybody has those same scruples, I guess. We had visitors yesterday, and they've got great scruples. They were really, really nice people, and we took them on a little tour of the farm. Here's a little video introducing them.
Manchester.
Well, my friends, we've got visitors to the shop. They've been staying at our rental retreat. How did you find your accommodations?
Awesome.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, good.
None better.
This is Randy and Mickey. Did I say that right?
That's correct.
I can't remember names even for 5 seconds. It's terrible. It's just like a disease. But we had our little farm tour, and I bored them to death with all the artifacts I found and all that stuff too.
We stayed in the place. We came down here for a shop tour, and we ended up with a tour of the whole place. It was wonderful.
Well, good.
Great.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks so much, Jerry.
You're welcome. Yeah, they were very nice and seemed to enjoy the tour of the farm and that whole bit. Let's see, what's the next thing that I have down here? Oh yeah, while Mickey was here, I was showing her some of my artifacts, and she looked at this little piece of porcelain, and she just instantly said, Laughlin. You know, she just looked at it for a second. She goes, it says Laughlin on it. Well, I've looked at this a few times, and I never really looked at it that close, but yeah, it's not going to focus. You can almost see the word Laughlin there. Well, anyway, I always thought that was just a little, like a border design. I didn't ever really notice that it actually says Laughlin. And sure enough, it does. So I looked that up, and that's Homer Laughlin, China type stuff. And that company was first founded in like 1871. It sounds like they got, you know, serious into that kind of work around the late 1800s. And so I figured this is either from the late 1800s or early 1900s. That was something I found back there at the one of the old house places. And in fact, it was at the one above the pond. And, well, I guess speaking of the pond back there, you know, here's a real short video on feeding the fish again. But, boy, they really were getting into it on this one. Well, the fish really have gotten into the eating thing. They really know what's going on now. And the catfish are getting bigger too. You can see how they're growing. And I guess it's because we're feeding them. I really don't know, but boy, they're growing fast if you ask me. Yeah, they're really into it now. It's like a feeding frenzy. Yeah, it's enjoyable. It's peaceful to watch them, you know, eating and feeding through there like that. And of course, speaking of the pond project, or ponds in general, the pond project step 1 is almost finished. I worked on it roughly 2.5 hours yesterday. Take a look at this video. This video is for the vlog. Well, my friends, I started about 2:30 working on this project. I dug a lot of this dirt out around here, leveled this off, dug this down about a good foot all the way across, spread all the dirt over there, increased the height of the dam over there, also dumped it on the back side of that dam to make that dam a little bit wider over there. And it is presently around 5 o'clock, and so about 2.5 hours of work, and I've got the ditch dug for the pipe. Now the ditch isn't finished yet, and I don't even think it's at the right level. My idea is to raise the level of the pond by about a foot by raising this pipe up about a foot. And what I'm going to do is wait till tomorrow, see where the water level rises up to, because this is a spring-fed pond. That spring house up there has water flowing in here all the time, 24/7, and keeps this pond full. Well, by tomorrow, I'm hoping it'll be up into this area here, and I can then kind of tell, you know, how much more I want to raise it up, and then I'll put the pipe in tomorrow. For those of you new to my channel, I dug the little trench here with this little backhoe attachment. Bobcat told me there's no way you can make that backhoe attachment work on this big T300 Bobcat. And I said, challenge accepted. I cut it all apart, welded it all back together, hooked it up, and it works like a champ. The only thing you got to do is you got to run the idle much slower on the T300 because it's a much higher flow hydraulic. And it makes the controls work way too fast if you run it at full speed. So I just run it at about half throttle, and it works great and got all kinds of power. But anyway, This project is well underway, and for literally 2.5 hours, 3 hours work at the most, it's almost finished, other than the final grade with some seed, grass seed and stuff. And almost finished means step 1 is almost finished, because as you know, step 2 is going to be working on building a water wheel type deal. But that's going to probably come in multiple steps also, because that's a really big project. The water wheel thing is not a 5-minute job. I first have to level out a pad area there where I can build the water wheel house. I have to pour concrete for that. I have to build a retaining wall. And then of course I have to build the house. Then I have to build the water wheel and build the trough for the water to flow down. It's a big deal. It's not a 5-minute job, but it's going to be well worth it in my opinion in terms of beautification. If nothing else, it's just going to be a beautiful, peaceful little thing to have there. It's perpetual motion. They say it's not possible, but it is with a water wheel. As long as you've got a perpetual water source, and so far we do. It's as close as you can get to perpetual motion. And yeah, I know, you don't have to tell me. I know all about perpetual motion. It's not a thing. Anyway, so here's a before and after on the pond level, and this is not impressive. So even though the spring runs 24/7, it's not a real big amount of water coming in there. You could fill up a cup in maybe 5 seconds or so with it. Like a glass like this, it'd probably take 5 seconds to fill it up. So, that's kind of the water that's running in there all day long, though, 24/7. So don't expect a lot here in this before and after picture. So the one on the left is the before. The one on the right, first of all, you'll notice that it's cleared up. Second of all, if you look at the little tiny peninsulas in the upper right part of that little water body there, you can see that they're a little more underwater than the one on the left. So it came up 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch. That's about all it came up overnight. But that's pretty good when you consider the size of the surface area of the pond, and all that new dirt is soaking up water too. So it takes a while before it's going to come up. And so I'm in no huge hurry to put the pipe in. I can wait 2 or 3 days. That part of the project can wait on itself. And I do have a laser level. You don't have to tell me about that either. I know all about using a laser level. And yes, I could do it with that, but it's just simple, and you can really see what you're getting visually, because the water level will rise, and I can then put the pipe in and know exactly what I'm going to get on my water level and know exactly what it's going to look like. So that's why I'm just going to wait and do it that way. And that's one thing about water, is it don't lie. It'll tell you what the level is. That's for sure. So that's the way I plan to proceed with that. And while I'm waiting on that, that doesn't stop me from starting on phase 2, which is, trying to clean out that area over there where I want to build a pad and all that. So phase 2 might start today. You just never know. Probably will, since the parts for the trailer didn't come in. I don't know for sure, though. I do have a short video I want to try to make and get out this week too. So there's just a lot to do. Like, it's never a dull moment. Always got plenty. Well, anyway, that's the status of all that stuff. Jeff Puris was the first one to make a comment this morning, it looks like. And though it's hard to say if that's true or not, because there's some comments scrolled up above. There's a banner that comes up every morning when it starts, and there's usually a few comments above the banner, so I don't know if those people commented before it actually went live. I'm not really sure how that works. But anyway, from the live point on, Jeff Puris was the first one. Walker Tondi was the second one. Mitch McConnell moment. LOL. Yeah. James Kopp. Morning from San Leon, Texas. And then Tommy from Ireland. Hello from Ireland. Caroline Fike again. She's here, been late a lot lately. Thank you. Charlie Rostern. Jeff Pierce again. Clyde Lewis. Tommy from Ireland again. Boy, the names are scrolling up again. There's Doug Centaniello. And anyway. Walker Tong D says, retired with a question mark. Yeah, I'm retired. I just lay back and do nothing now. Blackjack Guitar says, Jerry, you're a real eager beaver. Yeah, well, maybe. That Bobcat makes short work of that stuff. And, the in thing these days is to have your backhoe. A track hoe, and mini track hoe or whatever. And everybody's got those in all the videos. Well, I'm just going to flat tell you to your face, I wouldn't trade my skid steer for 3 of those. Those other things are handy, and they're really good at what they do, but they're also really slow compared to the skid steer. I mean, I bet, it doesn't really show up in the picture there, but, I'm just talking about my little 1-ton dump truck. It's got a 8-foot wide bed and 9-foot long bed, and it's about 18 inches deep or something. If I was measuring it in terms of filling that up, I probably moved 10 to 15 dump truckloads of that dirt and moved it around and spread it all in 2.5 hours. And on top of that, that was super rough digging. That was some really hard digging. Yeah, you would think, well, it's a pond dam, it should be easy. Well, it wasn't. And the reason was because it had giant boulders in the dam, which is typically a no-no. You typically don't want that, but there was a lot of them. So as I was doing it, I was also trying to clean it a little bit and throw all the bigger boulders off to the backside of the dam. But when you hit those with your bucket, well, then your bucket will skip up above them or roll over them, or cause you to bounce, and it's a real pain. So it was some of the hardest dirt. I would say, in fact, that was the second hardest dirt I ever dug in my life. The hardest was underneath my big metal building. I hit what they call hard pan. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it took like 2 days to go down about that deep. It was really hard. It was like digging in concrete. It really was. But that dirt was almost as bad just from the standpoint of the boulders. There was boulders in that like crazy, and that stuff had been packed in there for probably 50, 60 years, and it wasn't going nowhere. And that real hard clay, had formed around it, and man, it was fun digging. I'm not kidding you. Now, that part there, honestly, would have been easier to dig with a track hoe, no question. But you can dig and smooth and level and haul and everything with that skid steer, and you can move a lot of dirt in a short time with that skid steer. And I know you can with a track hoe too, but in my opinion, the skid steer is way more versatile. The track hoe's pretty cool, and for me, my track hoe turns out to be my little Bobcat attachment. Now, it's not nearly as versatile as a track hoe. I'll just be the first one to tell you that. But it sure does beat using a shovel. But, I mean, don't get me wrong. If I had a track hoe, I'd use it. But I'd much prefer. So what I'm saying is, if you're somebody that's just getting property and you have a choice of getting one or the other, rather than getting that YouTube popular track hoe, if I was you, I'd get a skid steer, because you can get all these attachments, forks and buckets and brush hogs, and you can get everything, and they're so versatile, and you can use them for so many things. And if it was me getting new property and wanting to maintain it, I would definitely get a skid steer, not a track hoe. The track hoe would be nice to have. The skid steer is an absolute must-have, in my opinion. And I think the guy Outdoors with Morgan, I think he's Mike Morgan. I think he's starting to see that too, but he still uses his track hoe a lot, but I think he realizes now that the skid steer is really an important piece of equipment, because he started out with a track hoe first. But anyway, that's just an opinion. Everybody's got one, and you heard mine. Let's see, any questions down there? I don't see any. Got quite a few more people scrolling through. There's 71 online right now. Yep, okay, well, I don't see any questions, so I'm going to call that good for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll see part 2 of the project, or at least some being started, by tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow if you want to see the progress that we make on part 2. Thank you very much. We'll see you then.